Wow. Ein Drink braucht er. Ich brauche auch gleich einen, wenn das hier fertig ist. Was? Wir haben da unten Gesellschaft. Ja, mag das wohl sein? Und es ist schön erhellt hier. Nicht so düster und dunkel wieder. Kann ich hier?
You're awake, Mr. Pierce. How do you feel?
Natürlich.
Did I sleep long?
The day is only starting. It's fine.
Ich brauche einen Drink. Oh, da ist er. Da kann ich natürlich nicht hin. Kann ich mit dir quatschen hier?
How's our fugitive? Dr. Fuller hasn't reported your disappearance to the force, but that'll come soon.
Bradley?
Who else would it be?
Mr. Pierce, are you all right? You look like you saw a ghost.
There are things I can't explain.
Tell us. What happened?
Mit Bradley sprechen. Mit Colden sprechen.
What I'm sure of now is that the Hawkins case isn't just an accident.
And what brings you to that conclusion?
The fact that Charles Hawkins survived the fire.
I don't understand. Mr. Hawkins was buried.
That's what he would have you believe.
I have a hard time believing you.
You were there, Bradley. You even opened fire on him.
I'd remember that.
Why would he fake his own death? Do you think he covered up his wife's murder?
That's possible.
It seems hard to swallow. Don't you have anything more concrete, Pierce?
Sie und Dr. Colden?
I heard you talking earlier.
Why am I not surprised?
I get the impression you two don't get along.
Intrusive and not very clever. Anyway, let's get back to the business at hand.
Ihr Gedächtnis scheint sie im Stich zu lassen.
Bradley, what do you remember?
I don't understand your question.
The night we went into the Hawkins mansion. You don't seem to remember the tunnels and what occurred there.
No memory of going down any tunnel. No, we were in the manor, then,
Then what?
the rest is quite blurry. I don't recall how I came back home.
And then?
I went to visit you at the hospital and called on Marie's help to get you released.
And you don't remember the events of the tunnel?
I don't. Let's talk about something else.
Kacke, das kann ich nicht machen. Scheiße.
I met a Francis Sanders. Do you know him?
Of course, he's a patient. Or was. I haven't seen him since Dr. Fuller had him transferred to the basement.
He knew Sarah Hawkins, and that's what killed him.
What? How did he die?
I'm not sure I can explain it.
Tell me how Mr. Sanders died.
Eine Art Krise ernannte ihn den Schurfler.
Sanders started screaming.
Was ist mit ihr Rockboss hier gerade?
Convulsing.
Convulsing? That doesn't fit with his history.
Then his body got all crooked.
What in God's name? And you were alone with him?
He accused Sarah Hawkins of being the culprit.
Sarah Hawkins? Have I missed something here? This makes no sense. I don't see how it can help crack the Hawkins case.
You really think she's involved? How could she have murdered Mr. Sanders?
Francis Sanders mentioned Mrs. Hawkins just before dying. It's no coincidence.
You know, Francis Sanders was a well-known art collector. I guess you can still pay a visit to his wife, Irene Sanders.
An art collector, you say? That's probably how they met.
If you plan on having dinner at the Sanders household, please spare the widow the tale of her late husband's suffering.
I don't agree. She deserves the truth.
but that truth may be biased. We don't know the bottom of it.
Bleiben wir besonnen, wir sollten uns besser die Wahrheit stellen. Ich tendiere das. Komm.
He's right. We can't ignore the truth.
But it could drive her mad.
Better madness than ignorance. Very well. I'll go to see Francis's widow. Perhaps I'll find a link between her husband's death and Sarah Hawkins.
Don't end up in the hospital this time.
I'll do my best.
Wie gespeichert, mit dem Wipfelsander sprechen.
Let us go now and learn the truth about what's happening on this island.
Das heißt, wir müssen hier rausgehen, oder ist dann nämlich auch hier? Müssen wir mal gucken. Jetzt nimmt es ja langsam etwas Fahrt auf, Freunde. Mit einem exzellenten Ladebildschirm. Ja, Ladebildschirm. Oh, es ist unglaublich warm. Alter. Ladebildschirm? Noch mehr Ladebildschirm?
What can I do for you, sir?
Mrs. Sanders, I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins. Can I come in?
You may.
Alter.
However, before we go any further, please know that my husband died yesterday.
That is precisely what brings me here.
Well, well, look who's here. You know each other.
We met briefly. Time enough to iron out a few matters. The main thing is that we understood one another. The brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
It's a small island, detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me.
You're investigating Francis' death. Why? Who hired you?
I spoke to Francis before he died. His story suggests a link to a case I'm working on.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene. We'll carry on later.
Very well, Miss Baker.
Miss
This way, Mr.
Baker.
Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable. It would seem that you have much to tell me. May I inquire as to when you had the opportunity to talk to my husband?
Yesterday, I met him at the hospital. He spoke to me about Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins and her paintings. Please forgive my tone. The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned. You, on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died. How was he? Were you present when he had this attack? What happened?
Okay, er starb schreiend direkt vor meinen Augen. Er war nicht mehr da, als es passierte. Sie nehmen ihn ziemlich gefasst auf.
I expected to find you more grief-stricken than this by the death of your husband.
I do not like the tone of your allusion, sir. I had long months to weep every tear in my body, and to accept, if not my fate, at least that of my husband. And so I'm sorry to disappoint you if you're expecting more hysteria and grieving widow in my voice. Rest assured, however, my anger is real. I need to understand. How could this happen? In a reputed institute? And right before your eyes? Did you not do anything to help him?
Tut mir leid, aber ich hatte nichts damit zu tun. Der wahre Schuldige ist voller. Habe ihn nicht dorthin geschickt. Eigentlich ist er das auch.
So ask Fuller, he's the eminent doctor. But I would caution you, you'll find his treatments more terrifying than the illnesses he sets out to cure.
That churl no longer takes the trouble to receive me. He sends his secretary to tell me that I cannot see Francis. Me. His own widow. He must think that I am a terrible wife for having abandoned him in such a way. But I only wanted what was best for him.
I'm not here to condemn you, Mrs. Sanders.
Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could tell me what you expect of me, and then leave.
Hat er von einem Schluffer gesprochen? Oder kennen Sie Sarah? Was tut
May I
der hier?
ask you what Miss Baker is doing here? How do you know her?
My business with Miss Baker is private, Mr. Pierce.
But you do know what kind of business Miss Baker is in, don't you?
I am no fool. Please believe that much, at least.
Hat er von einem Schluffer
Did your
gesprochen?
husband talk to you about Sarah Hawkins' visitor? A shambler, to use his precise terms.
Well, you can imagine that's all he talked about. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
Hold on. The Shambler is a painting by Sarah Hawkins.
Who else to paint such horrors? Take a look for yourself, if you feel so inclined.
It is my only lead at this stage. I suppose I have nothing to lose.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. But if you're so eager to see it...
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long.
Okay, wir können uns jetzt wieder umschauen. Kann ich hier? Okay.
The day the Shambler came into the Sanders' lives.
Dieses Gemälde, von dem sie gesprochen haben. Oh, Flashback. Oh Gott. Okay, da haben wir schon.
Francis Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close. Friends, even? A house of artists.
Haben wir
A house of artists. Sanders' accession register. He wrote beside the Shambler, "Finally." What did Sarah Hawkins fear so much that she didn't want to sell the painting? He finally won. Was Sanders aware of his imminent doom? She first refused to sell the painting. How did that make her feel? Was she jealous of Sarah Hawkins?
Das ist die Frage aller Fragen.
The Shambler. I need to see it.
Alter, was war das denn jetzt auf einmal? Junge, Junge, Junge.
Did she really care for him after all?
Ablegungsbescheid, sehr geehrte Damen und Herren. Mehr Damen und Herren, also mehr Dame und weniger Herren. Ich bestande den Empfang Ihres Schreibens, indem Sie den Leichnam Ihres verstorbenen Mannes verlangen. Leider muss ich Ihnen mitteilen, dass ich Ihnen seinen Leichnam nicht aushändigen kann. Bei seiner Einweisung unterzeichnete sie eine Einverständniserklärung, die mir erlaubt, den Körper nach eigenem Ermessen zu beseitigen. Oh. Ich möchte Ihnen meinen tiefsten Beileid aussprechen. Thomas Fuller. Das hat immer einen Grund. Den Schlurfer untersuchen. Ja, wo soll ich den finden? Aha. Soll ich hier eigentlich überhaupt rum suchen? Das ist ja ein bisschen ungewöhnlich.
A strange Amerindian pendant.
Ein Amulett. Der Weich und der Dorf. Eine kurze Geschichte, die Darkwater von Ivan Greenwood. Dieses Buch beleuchtet den Ruhm vergangener Tage. Okay.
Strange. For months, 𝓙𝓪𝓱𝓻 refused to part with her painting, to finally give it away for nothing.
Natürlich. Oh, hier ist noch was.
I could use one of those.
Wieder diese Schlaftabletten, die man natürlich mitnehmen, ist
Another volume of the Reverend's wife's diary.
Band 3. Ja, Band 3, 2, 1, ist ja alles. Oh. Oh. Das ist so 𝓙𝓪𝓱𝓻 Galerie. Komm. Band 2. Es ist eine Art Lexikon mysteriöser und unbekannter Kreaturen. Langsam fange ich noch an zu glauben, dass sie wirklich existieren. Mit diesem Symbol. Ich glaube, das haben wir schon. Alter. Oh, wir kommen da rein. Ja, moin. Oh. Warum? Okay, wir haben wieder diesen... Warum können wir hier rein? Das ist nicht gut. Alter, was ist mit denen hier los? Wir hatten der hier alle gesammelt.
These artifacts date from pre-Columbian times.
Was hat denn der hier alles gesammelt, ey? Guck dir das mal an.
The man transformed an entire wing of his manor into an art gallery.
Ah, da ist das Gemälde. Oh. Cool. Und unsere Lampe endlich mal wieder aufgefüllt. Und du? Ja, natürlich. Hier war ich schon, ne? Achso, hier war Common. Bevor ich da rangehe, möchte ich mir noch mal kurz umschauen. Du brauchst nicht so böse kicken, ne? Hier ist anscheinend nichts. Oh. The Evil. Okay. Das ist das berühmte Gemälde. Gut.
What the hell was that?
Was? Ihre Kreaturen werden lebendig. Warum immer ich? Nein, weiß ja nicht. Der hatte richtig Bock. Bitte da, bitte da. Nicht reinkicken. Ja, geh mal weg. Geh mal weg jetzt. Schön weggehen. Ist das Licht empfindlich? Alter, wo soll ich denn jetzt hin? Alter, was? Vorsichtig auf. Können wir ja überspringen.
What the hell was that?
Alter, wieso kann er uns denn so schnell sehen? War irgendwas verkehrt? Hä?
I can't even touch it. No way out.
Oh wow.
Choice. I must get rid of it.
Keine Gummi berühren. Warum nicht?
Damn. Maybe I can use this dagger.
Ja, wenn ich jetzt rausgehe, dann ist er wieder da. Da ist der 𝓙𝓲𝓲𝓽𝓬𝓱𝓽. Jetzt hau ab! Hau ab! Geh weg! Jetzt pass auf, jetzt geh ich wieder raus. Wo der ist? Mal was mit dem Bild machen?
Damn it! This dagger didn't work. The thing came out of this painting. There has to be a link. Maybe if I destroy it.
Oh. Oh, ich häng fest! Ich häng fest! Oh, was ist das gemein? Okay.
What the hell was that?
Da muss es jetzt ein anderer Dorf sein. Der findet... Jetzt quatsch doch nicht immer!
Damn. Maybe I can use this dagger.
Brech hier mal alles auf. Oh, supi. Supi, jetzt können wir hier ein 𝓙𝓲𝓲𝓽 hier machen.
Damn it! This dagger didn't work.
Nö. Okay, den haben wir benutzt. Wow, 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 wow. Bleib mal ganz filmig.
Damn it! have
Okay,
to
der
use
ist
a
es ohne.
specific dagger.
Wir müssen einen anderen euch benutzen. Oh. Gut, der hat Bock. Es sind aber so viele hier.
There has to be.
Natürlich.
Maybe if I destroy it.
Alter, ich bin angespannt. Oh. Jetzt hängen wir hier fest, ey, weil ich nicht weiß, welcher Dolch das ist.
What the hell was that?
Quatsch da jetzt nicht, du Sappelkopf, du.
Wo der lang geht. Seht es nicht. Ja, zum versteckten Schrank drücken. Geil.
Damn. Maybe I can use this dagger.
Wow. Der hat ja richtig Bock. Ist das auch nicht.
Damn it. This dagger didn't work.
Schnackele. Oh. Welcher Dolch ist denn das jetzt? Jetzt macht die Kacke da weg.
What the hell was that?
Ja, das interessiert keinen. Ich weiß nicht, wo der lang läuft. Bin ich da? Bin ich da? Haben Sie jetzt wieder gesehen? Geht davon in die Richtung? Dann gehen wir jetzt mal darüber.
Damn. Maybe I can use this dagger.
Das sind auch nicht. Oh, ich glaube, das kann jetzt ein bisschen länger dauern. Ich mache jetzt hier mal einen Cut und fummel mir mal da ein bisschen durch. Oh. Sorry, Freunde. Wir sehen uns gleich wieder.